You may know them by different names. Sasquatch, skunk apes, swamp apes, Bigfoot. They're all the same creature. I just like the sound of the word Yeti. But I have here, in case you are a non-believer, I actually have a Sasquatch notebook made from recycled Sasquatch material. So don't tell me they aren't real.
Yes, sir.
Now, I'm going to set this right here for a minute. Now, when we used to do these camps out on the edge of Tug Hill, we were in an area that was considered to be an area that was a hotbed of Yeti activity, and had been for many years. Not so much where we are here. However, Yetis are known to be attracted, and one of their favorite foods is fish. And being that we're right on the edge of this body of water here, it's not out of the realm of possibility to believe that a Yeti may not only stray, but actually make his way to this lake shore. And research shows us that on windy nights, hold your questions until later, we'll have time for questions at the end of the lecture. On windy nights, Yetis are especially known to migrate to other areas. So this particular seminar may be very timely. It might even save your life. Although, you know, the Yeti, the Sasquatch, has gotten a bad name. I don't personally believe that they're an aggressive animal creature. I don't believe that they mean to do humans any harm. They just want to live their lives, be left alone. Much like many of us. A few facts that you may or may not know about Yetis. They have a pack mentality. They like to live in family units. You know, you hear about these Bigfoot sightings. They'll be one at a time. What always makes me laugh is that there's 5 more right there in the ditch that they didn't even see. Oh well. Another thing that Yetis are known for is the throwing of stones and or sticks. Now you think about it, and this is where I want you to start to just think. Just think. Picture with me, if you will. Imagine, think, possibility. Have you ever been out in the woods or just walking down a trail or maybe somewhere in town and you hear a stick drop or maybe you're in an orchard and you hear an apple hit the ground? Anybody ever hear that happen?
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah. And you think, oh, an apple fell off a tree. Because our understanding, the way that society has trained us to think, we think inside the box. And we hear an apple hit the ground and we think, oh, an apple just fell off the tree. Maybe. Or maybe it was thrown. Think about it. Sticks. Oh, a branch fell off a tree. Maybe. Or maybe it was thrown. A stone comes hurtling by your head and you think, that was my little sister, maybe. Or perhaps it was a you. No, I said wait till later. Now the reason that the Yeti does this, again, they're not an aggressive creature. They do not do this to cause you or I harm. What they're doing is they're basically marking their territory and they're saying, we don't want company right now, don't come any closer. So they kind of throw stuff at us to keep us away. It's one of the reasons so many people have never seen it yet, including me. Now, here's a myth that has confounded Yeti experts, research analysts, and other people like them for years. How does a Yeti communicate? For years, people almost as smart as me, maybe even smarter, thought that the Yeti communicated through a series of tree knocks. Now just check this out. I'm going to walk over to this tree. Pay attention, don't go anywhere. That stick there is a little bit hollow. Piece of driftwood. It sounds a little different, but first of all, think about it. Picture a Yeti. If it helps you in your mind, picture it as a Sasquatch or a Bigfoot. Or a swamp. But picture that Yeti standing out in the woods, beating on a tree with a stick. Now, first of all, from what we know about Yetis, what self-respecting Yeti would be caught standing out in the middle of the woods, beating on a tree with a stick? You know the other Yetis are going to be, girl, what's your problem? Why are you hitting the tree with a stick? And Yetis, think about it. First of all, if they were to do that, it would almost be similar to Morse code. Am I right? Because it would take a certain series of knocks to communicate. You're ugly, might be 4 knocks. Supper's ready, 2. I'll be late coming home because I'm late, 5 knocks, and then 3 more quick raps. And you know that if a Yeti, if that is really the way they communicated, they wouldn't just, you know, hope they could find the right stick to hit the tree with. They would have a stick formed and sculpted and just the right weight and the right texture, and they'd carry it with them. How many of you have ever heard of a Bigfoot sighting where that creature was carrying a stick? No one? I rest my case. Tree knocks are a myth. The way the Yeti communicates is by a series of tongue clicks. Sounds similar to tree knocks, so you can understand how the mistake could have been made. Now, don't do it too much, because it is windy. And although they're not aggressive, they cannot be trusted. So what I want you to take away from this time is this. When you're out and about, be aware of what's going on around you. You hear something hit the ground behind you, just look around. You gotta be scared, but just be aware, because there's a possibility that it might be a Yeti. There's a chance that it might not be, but you never know. Always be ready. And if one of them comes along, scoops you up under his arm, and starts for home with you, just assume the fetal position, and what they're going to do is take you home and make you part of the family. You have nothing to be scared of. It'll be like an infant. You'll never be heard from again by human beings, but I think it would be fun. You guys are one step ahead of the game. You already know a lot of what to expect. You can thank me for it. And you wake up in that cave, Mama Yeti's pulling bugs out of your hair and eating them. Because they do that. Similar to chimpanzees. But you have nothing to fear. Alright? Any questions? Back. What do they look like? Pretty much what you think they would look like. Kind of big and hairy. Big feet. Angela.
How great would you say the population of these Yetis is in America?
See, that's hard for us to really gauge, because they are, not only are they nocturnal, but they're antisocial to other species. Not their own, to others. So we really don't have a concrete number on it this time.
This time? So there recently was.
We thought it was 417 recently. Now we don't really know.
Oh, okay.
To be honest.
Maybe
I don't want to, you know, I don't want to misrepresent the Yetti Research Foundation. So, there you go. Courtney?
What do Yetis eat?
What do they eat? Good question. What Yetis eat, and we've studied their feces thoroughly, is, and that's how we know. Berries, nuts, bugs, rabbit hair. Only the hair, though, interestingly enough. And don't ask me why I don't know the answer to that, but that's leaves
Bacon
and
grease.
pardon?
Bacon grease.